over this season, we have filmed a couple of segments with Dee Nash in her garden, and today I just wanted to take some time to sit down with Dee Nash and talk with her about some of her gardening experience. She is a wealth of information, and if you follow her blog, Red Dirt Ramblings, I know you probably have gotten to know her personality just as well as knowing her in person. So Dee, thank you for having us again here and enjoying the shade garden with you a little bit, right?
Yeah,
it's a hot
nice.
day today.
It's a very hot day today. It's so nice to be in the shade.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about, I think shade gardens are always important because you need that sort of respite when you're
out working in the garden in the sunny part.
Right.
I think shade gardens can be really great and have beautiful texture, but I don't think I was very good at it until recently because I think it took a lot of learning over a lifetime to figure out what worked in my area.
Okay.
And what works are hydrangea paniculatas and dogwoods and things like that, and hostas, some hostas, and maidenhair fern.
Okay.
Things that aren't hard to grow.
Beautiful maidenhair fern. And all of this creates a lot of texture and variance in the color, as far as the greens, the shades, which is just adds to that kind of relaxing feel in here.
Yeah, and if you want to punctuate something, I think a purple heuchera, like the ones down in front of us, are a good choice, or a red one, because there's some good red ones now too. So I think sun coleus are another plant that is like super easy to grow, and it can go in the sun or the shade. It's just the color's a little different, and one of my favorite plants.
So let me tell you, in all of your years of gardening, is there anything you can't grow now at this point?
I can't grow hydrangea macrophylla.
Oh, really?
So big leaf hydrangeas, I can't grow them because I just don't really have the right conditions for them here, and they want too much water, and I don't like them enough to try.
So it's okay as a garden lover, you're like, nope, I'll appreciate them somewhere else, but not for my garden.
Right, they work in other people's yards really, really well, and they should grow them.
Yeah. So talk a little bit, I know as we shot here with you, through the winter there was some damage from the ice storm and the freeze. Tell us a little bit about your experience and what you've thought. I know you lost some giant crepe myrtles and stuff.
I lost about a third of our tree cover. And we live in the woods. We live in an area that is post oaks and blackjack oaks mostly. And we lost a lot because that ice storm was devastating. Leaves were on the trees.
Yeah.
And what I've heard from a lot of my garden coaching clients is how sad they are. But I want to tell them by us visiting that you can come out of that and it's going to be okay.
Yeah, it's opportunity, right?
It is an opportunity. So I'm not as excited about my crepe myrtles as I was. They're coming back just fine from the ground, but I'm not thrilled with them anymore as trees. So I'm going to think about how I grow them.
So it's allowed you to see your garden in sort of a different light.
Completely different.
Literally different light, because it's different exposure now.
Yeah,
right?
It's different exposure, and also just different, all the plants that I thought were, there were understory plants, they're really coming into their own now because they're getting more sun.
Okay.
And in here, I thought we were going to have no shade cover at all, but the truth is we've had pretty good shade cover, even though I lost a third of the canopy.
Right.
So that surprises me.
So you haven't completely had to shift your shade garden to sun or anything like that?
No, I haven't, and I wondered about that. I was afraid that was going to be a problem. I was going to have burned hostas.
Yeah.
So
with your forest, wooded area around us, I assume you have deer and some pests that might come into the garden?
I have deer, and my neighbor actually across the street feeds the deer, and I said he can keep them over there. But I also have a dog, and my dog, he sleeps in the garage, and at night he hates deer. So that helps me with that. And also I'm really careful about how I plant things. So around the garden I have a lot of ornamental grass that moves, and deer don't like to jump into things where, you have some, they can't see.
Right.
They like to be able to see. And so I did that, and then I also put things they don't like next to things they do like.
Okay.
So like a hosta, I put a button bush next to it because they don't like button bush.
Okay.
Or I grow something like millennium alliums because they don't like those either.
So you just kind of intermix, hopefully, enough stuff that when they're foraging, they
stay away from something I like. And out there where I get really big deer pressure out against the road in those beds, I'm really careful to do almost all deer unfriendly plants.
Okay. So what I think a lot of people might not know is you and I know each other through GardenCom, which is an organization for garden communicators.
Right.
But we get to meet people from all over the world, especially U.S., obviously, around the country. But I know as we run into people and we get to see other gardens, they have some different challenges than we do. But I feel like we have more challenges.
We have huge challenges.
What do you tell people about having to garden in Oklahoma?
If this last winter wasn't an indication of how hard challenges can be, then there were the torrential rains this spring. I just tell people the truth, that if you can grow anything, I mean anything in Oklahoma, you're a gardener.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a real gardener, because it's easy to grow someplace where you get regular rainfall, nice temperate temperatures, easy stuff.
We've got the extremes here.
We're a prairie climate.
Yeah.
And my part of my land is actually right on that edge of the prairie, which is really part of the deciduous forest. But they all have their challenges.
Right.
I mean, 4 inches of rain in an hour and a half, it washes out all your paths and you start over again.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just things you do, right? So grow things that work. And if you find something that works, I think just keep on planting that for a while and then learn more.
Okay.
That's always my suggestion. And when I speak, I try to give people ideas of, what can we do here that's pretty easy? Because it isn't easy anyway.
Right. And you have killed your share of plants. I want to go ahead and, I know that's not a secret.
Right.
But I want to share that with people.
I've killed more than my share of plants. I mean, I've gardened here for 32 years, so I've killed a lot of stuff. I think I killed something last week.
And I think for people that are new to gardening to know that it's okay. We've all had some failures.
I have regular failures because you can try to plant for dry weather and then we'll get a torrential rain. It's not necessarily your fault that you kill it. And I think if you don't kill stuff sometimes, you aren't stretching yourself.
Okay.
So that's what I think.
Well, thank you for sharing those pearls of wisdom there with us, Dee. Appreciate it. And thanks for having us out in your garden.
Oh, it's been so much fun. I've enjoyed it.
We hope you enjoyed this video as part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on the OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.